Hey everybody, Paul Martin here. I wanted to spend a few minutes talking about some revisions I am making to my Get Home bag. I know it is in vogue for people to do what I've done here, and that is put all the contents on a table and make a YouTube video describing what they have. I'm showing you what I have just to give you some ideas, but at the same time, what works for me probably won't work for you, and what you have probably won't work for me. I really want to spend a few minutes telling you what has motivated me to make some changes in how I approach this. Simply put, the bag for me was too heavy. When I weighed it with its prior contents, it came in right around 31 pounds. And to me, it hurt my back. I didn't like walking with it. And in a short distance, it just became too tiring to use. What I noticed that when I used my leaf blower, I have a backpack leaf blower, and it weighs right at 20 pounds. I can wear a 20-pound backpack all day long and it doesn't hurt my back, and I have good mobility. And so my goal was to shed 10 pounds out of the bag, and I believe I've done that. So what I did was I started weighing everything using the scale and coming up with a list of what was heavy and what I could do without. And this is contents that will come in right at 20 pounds. Now this is not everything. I don't include my clothes in this because my clothes stay separate. I'll put those on should I have to walk home or change clothes or something like that. I don't keep those in the bag. But my scenario is, the worst case scenario for me, that is the most likely one, is that I would have to figure out a way home from someplace as far as Dallas or Houston, and that's about 180 miles. So I'm planning on 5 to 6 days on the road. So I have enough food and water purification for that period of time. One thing I think people don't stress enough is hygiene, and so you'll see I have a number of hygienic items here in my bag. That's probably more than most, but it is just so easy to get an illness due to poor hygiene when you are out in those kind of conditions, and so I don't want to have that happen to me. The purpose of the bag, and we now call these Get Home bags. Back in the old days, we referred to these as bug out bags, and I think the preparedness movement got smart and decided, you know, that sounds kind of weird, A, because where are you going, and B, you need to have a plan in terms of going somewhere in a disaster. And so most people are not going to, quote unquote, bug out. They are going to go back home to their friends and to their family. And so we started referring to these as Get Home bags, and I think it probably makes it a little easier to describe these to people and to get people to consider building their own when we refer to them as Get Home bags versus bug out bags, because you're going to an unknown place. So I have a number of items in here. All this is going to come in right at 20 pounds. I look forward to testing it and seeing if it's much more comfortable losing those 10 pounds. It doesn't seem like a lot, but I can assure you the difference, at least for me, between a 20-pound bag and a 30-pound bag is quite a bit. So what did I decide to toss overboard? Primarily it is food. These Mountain House weigh quite a bit, and I had a fair number of spare batteries, and I began to realize even if I use those batteries for 6-7 days straight, I don't need that many spares. And so I have decided to get rid of some of those as well, reduce the number that I'm carrying in the bag. So one of the things I would suggest to you is, if you have one of these Get Home bags, put it on and walk 2 or 3 miles and see how comfortable that is. One of the things that got me to thinking about reducing the weight of the bag and basically changing my whole philosophy about this is attending some classes at my local REI on ultralight backpacking. And it's kind of I won't say it's a new movement, but it's an acquired taste for people who are experienced hikers, and I don't consider myself an experienced hiker, but what they were telling me is we don't use a lot of the stuff that you see hikers use. We wear tennis shoes or trail shoes rather than boots. We wear lighter weighted clothing. We carry less stuff. We use more primitive shelters. And what that allows us to do, it allows us to go faster on the trail. It allows us to hike longer comfortably because we're not carrying so much weight. And that really appealed to me, because if you're trying to get home from someplace where you, for whatever reason, you've had to camp in your car for a day or so, then you have to walk 10, 15, 20, 30 miles to get to wherever it is you're going, having more comfortable shoes and a lighter weight pack will make that trip much faster. And the goal is to get home. And so we want to do whatever it takes to get home quickly. Reducing the weight of the pack, wearing more comfortable clothing will allow you to do that rather than getting all kitted up and having the whole 9 yards of survival gear on you. It weighs 50 pounds and you look like something out of a action movie or whatever. Pack light, carry light, and think of speed. What will get you home quicker? So these are just some items you might want to consider for yours. If you have comments or suggestions, I'd like to hear that. Put those in the comment field below. And thanks for watching.